Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we are going to be building grandiose, crazy castles. There's going to be some crazy rooms, we're going to be making activity rooms and food rooms and utility rooms. For Castles of Mad King Ludwig, we're looking at this from Bezier Games. It's 2 to 4 players, it plays in about 90 minutes. This is very popular. I think in 2014 and or 15 it's been one of the most top seller games. Let's see, does it hold weight to that, to those sales records? Let's see how this feels, and I'll show you how it's played, and I'll see you on the other side. In Castles of Mad King Ludwig, you'll be scoring points in that castle up there by building up different rooms of different square footages in your castle and putting them all together. At the beginning of the game, each player is going to pick their color and take the foyer of their color of choice. They'll get a player aid. They'll get 3 game end bonus cards, which they'll select 2 of these and put 1 back. And 1 player will be randomly assigned the first Master Builder and take that token. And the Master Builder will start with 0 points, and going around clockwise, each person will start with 1 more point just to balance it out. And here we're playing a 4-player game. Now there'll be a different amount of stacks of rooms for each square footage size and a different amount of room cards here depending on the amount of players. But in the 4-player game, we'll take up 7 cards. Each one of them will have a square footage of different rooms, and that's the tiles that we'll bring out to start the game. So the 7 ones are brought out here, and the Master Builder is going to decide how much he wants to set the prices to buy these. Now as you can see, there's all the way from 15,000 all the way down to 1,000 for pricing, and for the first round he's going to set the pricing for all of those. And as you can see, there's different types of rooms, and you can see them by color as well. The purple ones are typically the fire, that means living rooms. These are sleeping rooms with all the Z's. The anvils are basically utility rooms. We have activity rooms, which have like a little guitar there. We have downstairs rooms, different types of rooms that are in the game. So let's say the Master Builder sets it up like this. Each tile, then going clockwise, they get to decide if they want to buy one of these tiles. For example, if they wanted this one, they would pay to the Master Builder 4,000. Now everybody does start with some money at the beginning of the game, 15,000 to be exact, so they can spend that right off the bat. Now also keep in mind, these are some end game goals. We'll talk more about these at the end of the game. Essentially there's 1 of these put out per player. In a 4-player game, they're all there. Also, this is a double-sided board. For less than 4 players, you flip it over and it has the different prices and different things that you can use for different amounts of players. So if I bought this from the Master Builder, let's just say I would owe him, the Master Builder, $4,000, and I would take it and add it to my castle. Now when adding to a castle, well, this one only has 1 room. You have to place it adjacent to at least 1 other room, and when you do so, you have to make sure that at least one of the entrances matches up with an entrance of another building. So in this case, I have that there. Now up on the left, we will automatically score this amount of points, and some tiles have interaction points. This one does not, but this is just a 3-pointer, and it's a utility room, and it shows it's 300 square feet. So in this case, if the green was the first person to go, he would get 1, 2, 3 points and he would be there. Also, anytime you complete a room, meaning every doorway is pretty much closed within a room, you get a completion bonus. Different rooms give you different bonuses. For example, this one is a utility room, and this gives me 2 bonus cards and keep 1 of them. So I would take 2 of these bonus cards like that, and I would get to keep 1 of them and discard 1 to the bottom of the pile. And you can actually notate it because it's the same icon as that. We'll go over some of these other room bonuses later. And going clockwise, the other players can decide to buy some of these and pay the Master Builder. If they don't want one of those buildings, for 3,000 they can pay the Master Builder and get some stairs that go downstairs to bottom rooms, or they can get some hallways or downstairs hallways, and the hallways just allow you more flexibility in your castle to build off of rooms there. And if you don't want to do either of those, you can just simply take 5,000 for your turn from the bank and keep it. So let's say it looked like this by the time I got back to the Master Builder, and let's say he actually buys something. He would pay this to the bank since he's the Master Builder, and let's say it looked something like this at the end of the round. Well, this Master Builder would then go to the next player clockwise, and that player would now draw 1 card for each empty spot. So in this case, they're drawing 4 cards. So in this case, you take 4 cards off the top and you'd flip them over, so we're going to get a 200, a 500, a 400, and a 400 added to this. Now, here's the new rooms that were brought out from those cards. First of all, the rooms that were not bought last time get 1,000 every time you have a room that's not bought. So these can accumulate multiple thousands of dollars of discounts. And this is essentially, if I wanted to buy this, basically I could use this as part of the money to pay to him and pay 9,000 more because he gets this for his 10,000. It works as a discount. So now the master builder can actually now rearrange all the rooms, including the ones that were not bought from the previous round. So maybe he kind of moves these around and does something like this, and maybe he swaps this like this, and maybe he does something like this, and then he sets it, and then we go again, and that's pretty much how the turn structure works. Now let's talk about the different rooms and how you build. So let's take a look at how this might have evolved. I had started with just this, and maybe I added a long hallway, and then from the hallway I added downstairs, and then once at the bottom of the stairs I can add a downstairs room, which got me 2 points. And I'll get 2 points for every sleeping room. I would have gotten that if I had rooms. I would have gotten 2 right away. But later on, maybe I add something like this, and this is a nap room. Now again, as long as one entrance matches, I'm cool. I would get 2 points. And because I have this, I would get 2 more points because those match up as well. Now here is some interaction type of scoring here. And it basically means that if this room is connected to a living room, I'll get 2 points. So if I connect a living room to here, let's just say I have this, and this ends up coming like this. Now this is okay, even though it's blocking here, as long as I have 1 there, I would get this, I would put this, I would get 3 points. I would also get 2 points for having it connected to this. And if later on I connected one of these parks or outdoors and an activity room to it, I would also get it. Now this also completes this room, so we would look at some of the more of the completion bonuses. Now in general, let's just take a look at all these. For example, the activity gives you just, if you close one of those, it's 5 points right away. The food, you take 1 extra turn. The card, you place a free hallway or stairs, but only 1 of them per turn. If you close an outdoor room, you take $10,000. We already talked to you about the utility. Living is you rescore the completed room's points, so basically you double score it. For the downstairs, only every second one, so second, fourth, sixth, you take any one of these other 7 other awards. Essentially, you get 2 downstairs rooms, every even one, and you get a Wildcard Award. And the sleep is you choose 0, 1, or 2 rooms from a stack and place them face down on the room deck. So in that case, for example, I'd pick any one of these stacks, I'd look at all the rooms, I would pick 0, 1, or 2 of them that I want, and they would get put right on these cards. So the next rooms that come out are going to be those. I would then shuffle those ones that I already looked at and put them back here. These are the next ones that come out. Now that's essentially how the rounds work, continually until all the cards are pretty much emptied out. If at the end you still have empty spots, when the cards run out, you shuffle all the rest and just fill up the last of the buildings and have your last round. And at the end, the first thing we do is we look at these favor. I told you we'd talk about these later, now's the time. These ones here is whoever has the most rooms of either the utility or the activity rooms would get 8 points. Second most is 4, 2, and 1 for third and fourth place. You have to have at least one of them to get last place. If you're tied, let's say first and second was tied, you'd add them and divide by 2, so it'd be 6 points there for each of them. Now these ones that have a room on them basically says who has the most square footage of the sleeping rooms and the most square footage of the food rooms. Now again, there's 4 out here because there's 4 players. If it was 3, this would be flipped over. There'd only be 3 of them there. 2 players, there'd only be 2. And so that's pretty much, you score those favors first. Then you'd look to see if there's any depleted tiles. So if there are any depleted tiles, each person that has one of those in his castle gets 2 points extra for each one of those. We then look at the bonus cards that people have and score those. For example, I'd get 3 points for each of my 500 square foot rooms. This one, I'd get 2 points for each of my 200 square foot ones. This one, 2 points for each of my parks. And there's different bonuses like that, or 2 points for each of my downstairs rooms and things like that. So it kind of points you in a direction towards different types of bonuses that you can get. And finally, every 10,000 you have is 1 more point. Whoever has the most at the end is the winner. Alright, now this is thought of as being in a sort of trilogy of a game from Bezier Games, with Suburbia first, then Subdivision, then this. Now all of them are quite different from each other, but all of them also share a little bit of some of the same things with this. This is probably much more closer to Suburbia than Subdivision. Now the game itself, how does it feel? Well, okay, so there's 2 camps here. If you've never played any of those other games and you've just heard of this game here, what about for you?
For you, I think this game is an excellent tile laying game. That bidding mechanic of the master builder is sort of brilliant. I know other games have used it, but this does it really well, where you've got these tiles, you're trying to figure out how much can I get from other people. I see they need that. How much can I get out of them? If I place it here, if it's too expensive and they don't buy it, well darn, I just missed a chance to get some good money. If I place it too low, they're like, oh, there you go. Maybe I should ask for more. And that's a really cool aspect, sort of that I pick, you choose type of aspect that I like. I really do love that mechanism. Now, at the same time, though, that's one of the negatives for me, is that mechanism does induce, or is very likely to induce, possible analysis paralysis, or AP, from players, which also lends me to really like this game a lot more with less players, which is very similar to how I feel with Suburbia, which is 2 or 3 players max. I actually like both of these games best with 2 players. 3 players is about as much as I'd want to play either of these. With 4 players, especially with the Master Builder, there's too much to think about. It's like I got myself to think about and 3 other buildings, 3 other castles, plus all these things of where I'm going to put them. And it just, for me, it made the pace of the game slow down to the point where it wasn't as enjoyable as the earlier, having less players there. But overall, it's really cool. You're building your castle, you're getting these things, you've got these secret goals, which I love. You've got open goals, which I love. You could see who's shooting for what. Oh, he's got 2 food rooms. I better try to get on that. But he's pricing it very heavy. Is it worth it for me? Excellent decisions to make. Fun with all the different rooms. Thematic, how it's like, hey, you can't have the bedroom next to an activity room. They need to sleep. Really cool ideas there. So overall, I think it's an excellent game. So if you've heard about it but you haven't played the other ones, definitely give this one a shot. It's definitely a well-designed game. I would just recommend playing it with less amount of people. Now, for those people that also have played Suburbia, now I'm a huge fan of Suburbia. I think it was in my top 20, maybe 30 games, or it's definitely in my top 100. I can't remember exactly where I put it, but I really did like that game. And I still like that one better than this one for the reasons that I kind of already mentioned, which is I think Suburbia it's faster, it's quicker, it gives a somewhat similar feel of buying tiles, putting them in, where you put them, adjacents do things. There's not as many sort of combos with that. If you really like comboing things, multiple combos, castles is probably better for that. But if you like that combo aspect but don't want to go nuts with it, but want a faster, more streamlined game, I think Suburbia hits home for me there. You have managing cash and managing sort of points. In Suburbia, for me, that mix was even better because it's really like crazy how early you really need to get a lot of cash to be able to afford the buildings you need, and then slowly you then go to population. It's this cool arc of the game where here you're managing cash as well. It just feels a little bit different. So personally, I still like Suburbia the best of the 3, but this is definitely a strong game itself. But the pacing was a little negative for me. The setup time's a lot more in castles for sure. There's a lot more tiles to put out, especially, so overall, great game. I could see why it gets the love, but for me, I prefer Suburbia. And those are the reasons why. Lower player count, I think you'll be fine with this. At least that's my personal preference. We'll see what yours are. I'll see those in the comments below. And that's Castles of Mad King Ludwig.